Good morning, dear listeners. Welcome to KN Energy's Investor Conference. I'm Emilia from Nasdaq Vilnius, and I'll be moderating today's event. We will start with the presentation from the management, which will be followed by the Q&A session. Please be informed that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. I encourage everyone to submit questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. You can submit them either anonymously or with your name. With that said, I am pleased to introduce today's presenters, the CEO of the company, Darius Šilenskis, and the CFO, Tomas Tumėnas. Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Good morning. So thank you, Emilia, for the introduction. Thank you for those who joined this morning. And I'm more than glad today to present together with Tomas what are our unaudited results and main highlights from all our business streams. As always, I would like still to remind what is KN Energy's vision and mission, since it is revised during 2023 while developing and drafting our brand new strategy, long-term strategy. So shortly saying, our vision is to be at the forefront of energy transformation by expanding in general our services and improving our operations and activities in order to become climate neutrality company itself, and of course to support our customers on energy transition. And mission is in general remains the same. I mean, to continue our activities of storage, transshipment, accumulation, handling in our operated terminals, liquid energy terminals, but also to enable decarbonization by developing infrastructure which will be suitable for future energy carriers. And also the least, but definitely not the last, emphasis on the importance of KN Energies to the energy security will remain. So talking about the main highlights during reported period, we as usually including main highlights for the previous quarter or for the quarter about which we are talking today. So I'll start from a very brief introduction of the key performance indicators, financial performance indicators, but I will not get into the details since Tomas will explain in a more detailed way later today. So 83.5 million euros group revenue level, unaudited, of course, results is in, which means that our revenue was growing 7.3% comparing to results in 2022. Talking about EBITDA, so it is also improving by 2% comparing to the previous year. Talking about the net profit, it is a significant increase in net profit, where net profit reached 13.2 million euros, while in 2022 was 5.9 million euros loss. Nevertheless, it's worth to say, and it will be explained by Tomas later, that it is not adjusted and normalized results. So you will have information about all angles on the net profit a bit later. Talking about our regasification, which contributes significantly to our revenue line. So regasification was slightly, and reloading services as well were slightly higher comparing to 2022. Talking about our liquid energy terminals, so we had slightly less transshipment, but as I will explain later, that doesn't mean less revenues and less profitability. So main highlights from liquid energy terminals, maybe it is worth to still to remind that we achieved one more record. We loaded biggest historically ship with the gasoline. That means and reflects our capabilities to adapt to the market and meet customers' needs in order to remain competitive. Also, we are successfully continuing, let's say, our services related with supplies from and to Ukraine by using our infrastructure. And it is not limited only to petroleum products, but as well so to some biofuels. And also it is not let's say, a typical yet operation for our terminals, where we are providing services, loading services actually to ISO containers, which gives more flexibility to enter or leave Ukrainian market. Talking about our global energy, let's say, business stream, we secured the public tender for commercial services of 4 German LNG terminals on the North Sea coast of Germany. Actually, this is 4 out of 5 terminals in Germany, which were built or are being to build to substitute Russian supplies by the grid. And talking about our new energies business stream, so the biggest achievement during reported period is the fact that the European Commission included our, let's say, our leaded CCS Baltic Consortium to the final list of projects of common interest. And this will give additional opportunities or maturity to this project to expect financing. Other news, we finally changed our legal entity name, which is more reflecting our new strategy and scope of our activities. I'm getting still I'm getting still questions. What does that mean, KN? So I think the abbreviation KN, the best explanation could be that KN refers to Key and New Energies, which reflects our new strategic ambition. Respectively, we also changed our subsidiary's name, which is, let's say, used and responsible for our Brazilian business. Okay, so let's talk in a more detailed way about each business segment, about each business stream, and I would like to start from the liquid energy terminals. So during 2023, we had firm demand for the services in all of our, let's say, operated and owned liquid energy terminals. Presently, we have 3 of them. One is in Klaipėda, one is in Subačius, and also we are a commercial operator of the Marijampolė terminal, which is not maybe big, but it is important for our Ukrainian-related business. So revenues were growing 0.4%, but as you will see in the following slides, profitability and return was, let's say, growing or improving better. And why this transshipment activity was successful? Because the consumption was stable and the supply of liquid fuels to Europe was tense due to some unplanned refinery outages, due to industrial actions in the region. And this contributed to the stable demand for our services, which we provide mainly in Klaipėda terminal. So talking about another driver, few years in a row, we are reporting records on the biofuels transshipment and related services. So this tendency is continuing. And of course, more light products, so to say, products which are not used, which are not needed to be heated during the handling operations. The share of those products is significantly increasing. Year-over-year consumption of gasoline and the diesel in Lithuania actually increased during last year. It's about 7%, and it caused 7% higher transshipment flows in our Klaipėda terminals, tanker truck station, where mainly gasoline was a growth driver. Also talking about bitumen, we started this business almost 2 years ago, and it is a stable growth which we can see. And last year, the let's say amount of the bitumen which we handled in our Klaipėda terminal was growing quite significantly. It was 18% more comparing to the previous year. Talking about our regulated LNG or talking about the performance of our FSRU independence in Klaipėda. So regasification and reloading quantities were growing, but not so significantly. It was 4.7% higher comparing to the same period. Utilization of our infrastructure of this terminal was at a level of 71.4%. It is slightly higher comparing to the average of Europe's LNG terminals during 2023, where the average in Europe was 59. Talking about the natural gas index prices, which indirectly is affecting, of course, our regasification volume, because natural gas has substitutes in the region. So price dropped significantly from the very peak on 130s, 150s, even in 2022. During 2023, average Dutch TTF gas index was at a level of 48. And for those who are checking pulse of a market, you can see that the tendency is continuing, and TTF index is even below 30 last month. So during 2023, we have booked fully all capacities of FSRU independence till 2032. And capacities have been allocated to 6 different market participants from Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Poland, and Norway. 85% of natural gas transported into Lithuania during 2023 were handled or imported through our operated FSRU independence. And shortly about market tendencies. So Lithuania's natural gas consumption was about 14.9 terawatt hours during 2023, which is about 4% less comparing to 2022. Okay, so let's move to our commercial LNG segment. Commercial LNG segment, I would like to remind, it includes our global business development and projects which we have overseas, and also our small-scale terminal performance or truck loading, LNG truck loading terminal performance in Klaipėda. So 27.4% increase in commercial LNG revenue during 2023. And main drivers for that, of course, was successful contracts with DET terminals, and also revenues which we managed to accumulate from cooperation with Italian partners by supporting Piombino LNG terminal. And of course, LNG truck loading station in Klaipėda was picking up, and it was a record number of LNG semi-trailers loaded in this infrastructure during 2023, and this growth or increase was quite significant. It was 57% more. Talking about our new energies, new business segment of new energies, so the biggest progress presently is on carbon capture and storage, Baltic Consortium development. I already mentioned briefly. We were included in a 6th PCI list by European Commission, and this gives, let's say, opportunities when it will be approved to move on with attraction of funds from EU to develop this project together with our partners, which are Japanese company Mitsui O.S.K. Line, Norwegian shipping company Larvik Shipping, and Akmenės Cementas, Švenk Latvia as well. So this new energy stream is really developing well. So talking about our environmental, social, and corporate governance, let's say, block or part of our activities. So what it is important to say that our new strategy is very significant milestone achieved during 2023. Why? Because it defines very clear commitment of a company to climate neutrality, and we have very, let's say, precise goals and ambition defined in this document. Talking about safety block, which is very important for the company like KN Energies, the operator of let's say dangerous products in all our terminals. So we are measuring closely and investing a lot into safety culture improvement. So main, let's say, KPI which we use to measure performance is TRCF. So our goal was quite ambitious. We were targeting 0.8. We managed to achieve 0.6. So talking about the scope 1 CO2 emissions, so meaning the emissions from our direct activities, we managed to decrease CO2 emissions by 8%. Also, we have included the suppliers angle in our ESG activities and prepared an approved code of ethics for them. Talking about the equal opportunities, pay gap decrease is 40%. Actual result is 40% comparing to the goal, which was 10%. And women in managerial positions presently consists 26% in our company or group. Improvement in governance. So we, comparing to the last 3 years, we were ranked A-. So this year, good governance index is A. And also we have improvement in a corruption intolerance rate, which improved by 3% up to, I would say, record 96%. So transparency, let's say, goals are also improving. And at this point, I would like to pass a word to Tomas and to talk about our financial performance and about the ratios in a more detailed way. Thank you.
Thank you, Darius. Good day for everyone. So I'm really glad, first of all, to join the KN as I became CFO, like a brand new one month old, while my age is more bigger. So let's look at the results. Thank you. I would like to point out, maybe first of all, very shortly, the glance what happened in the last year in overall macro environment. As you know, geopolitical situation and the war in Ukraine has a very big impact on energy business as such, and of course, even at higher level on Europe energy business, and the market situation and fluctuations of the prices are very, let's say, big ones, very steep ones. And if we take even the one side of their gas price, the gas price during the last year basically declined, was on downward trend and declined to, let's say, by almost 47%, and followed by other, let's say, liquid product prices. Therefore, the market players has, to adapt to this fluctuations in the markets. And accordingly, our business, our company is definitely depending indirectly to those movements of the prices of gas and other energy products. And it was successful adaptation, I should admit, and because as Darius mentioned, if we look on the revenues, we increased by 7%, reach 83 million euros revenues in total. It's one of the highest revenues of the company's history. And if we look on our 3 business segments, the biggest growth came, which is very important for us, is on commercial energy side, and commercial energy grew by 28%. and their LNG regulated business sales growth was 9%, and liquid energy was on the flat, I would say. The growth was very small, but nevertheless, if we go to the EBITDA for business segments, especially commercial business segments, growth was really nice, a really big one. Commercial LNG grew by 44%, liquid energy by 13% year-on-year basis, and regulated business by 9%, which is really important for the company. I will repeat what Darius said, that on LNG regulated activities, the company managed, to have long-term agreements with the clients till 2032, and securing the utilization of the terminal around 73%. This is very high utilization ratio. And in our backup slides, you can see their table showing how in Europe other terminals are performing and what is the utilization ratio. So this is very key, big achievement. We have a secured utilization till 2032, around 73%. This is really, really good and very strong, message to the market and to the company and to the all, I would say, Lithuanian customers and eventually the consumers, meaning that it's not like we can sleep peacefully, but we can sleep peacefully in that respect. If we talk about liquid energy products, here also we're very strong in terms of our market share. We're having almost, if we are comparing ourselves to other Baltic terminals, because our operations on liquid energy basically is based on Baltic countries and neighboring country like Poland. So comparing to our other Baltic terminals in liquid energy products, we occupying the market share from at the beginning of the last year 40% till the second half of the last year almost reached 60% of all liquid energy transshipped amount. The KN occupies approximately 60% of the market share. So this is like a sign showing our ability to capture the best clients, to put and to solve the best service, to provide the best service. And also this is a strong fundamental for the future growth, and there are very, let's say, predictable future cash flows, because also we're aiming to secure our clients on long-term basis contracts as much as we can. Looking on the bottom line net profit, as Darius said, we had quite nice profit from balance sheet point of view, let's say accounting level, around 13 million euros. Of course, it's huge improvement from the last year's loss, but usually we are showing managerial figures. Managerial figures, meaning that we are showing our adjusted net profit. Here, basically, we're taking out impact of IFRS 16, and taking out that impact, our net profit was 7 million euros, which is less by almost 2 million versus last year. Basically, in this IFRS adjustments are adjustments related to their unrealized forex, because when we are renting our FSRU independent, we have in our asset base at least amounts, and those shows like on the balance sheet like assets. Therefore, our financial debt grows, and having payments in US dollars for the lease of the vessel, and our functional currency is euros, mother currency is euros. Therefore, the exchange rate fluctuations has a big impact, and it was more than 7 million euros last year. And the minor impact was a deferred income tax. It's also related to this IFRS 16 adjustments. This is more than 1.1 million euro. But looking forward, as you know, and heard in the market, that this year is very important for the company, because we will acquire our FSRU independence totally, let's say, eventually. And by the end of this year, we will have it operating in and including in our balance sheet. So we'll own the vessel. And what it means not only from the strategic point of view or from as a country's point of view, having that independence in own balance sheet, but as well as owning the vessel and operating the vessel. Also, it means that those, from financial point of view, those fluctuations of IFRS 16 will be diminished to almost minimum, because we will have our vessel in the balance sheet, and we also will have on the left hand the loan for that acquisition, for that, let's say, vessel payment, and therefore will be good in that respect, that we will have less and less differences between accounting net profit, accounting EBITDA, and adjusted net profit. So if we can move forward, these are our basic ratios. That's basically reflects what I said previously. As you see, our gross profit margin is quite nice, fluctuates during the past 2 years around 27, 26, 28%. EBITDA margin is very healthy, and it's around 43, 45%. And looking forward, we are aiming to keep that level according to our strategy, but also according to our, let's say, vision, because this is very, very profitable and marginable business. Accordingly, our having the huge balance sheet on our side, the return on equities, return assets also fluctuates depending on the asset size. Some comments on our leverage, because we think it's very important to comment this, because from first glance it might be quite high ratios, looking like 12-11 times to EBITDA. But again, as you know, our loans are basically related, not basically, actually related, all loans to the independence, and those are secured by the government guarantee. And the net debt amount at the end of the last year was 300 million euros, as you see. The company has quite big liquid buffer. This is very important to know. As you see, we have around 20 million in cash, and in short-term deposits, 57 million euros. So we have quite healthy liquidity buffer, which company invests in according its investment policy into very liquid and transparent and secure instruments. And we are doing this all over the year, and that liquid buffer company wishes to maintain, to keep, in order to finance its growing business, especially commercial business, future expansion into foreign markets, or maybe even having mergers acquisition transactions, because also our commercial team are working in that area very heavily. And we are looking forward to have those in the nearest couple years. So from liquidity perspective, on one hand, we quite have a high amount of the debt, which is secured by the guarantee, and also we are quite okay with the liquid buffer. But if we look on our DSRS, debt service coverage ratio, meaning that ratio who is in financial field, so that is around it's around the level of from 3 to 5 times. So this is very healthy DSRS ratio, meaning that we are, from cash flow perspective, very secured, and basically already repeating myself that securing LNG regulated business for the next 8 years at 73% occupancy ratio, so no problems in that respect. Free cash flow also was quite healthy, finishing at 35 million euros per last year. This year we have quite ambitions regarding our capex expenditures in various investment projects, And as you see, our loans are basically companies or the banks, financial institutions, which are key players having, let's say, state companies, financing state companies and financing even the state. So here the company doesn't have any commercial loans, but nevertheless, looking forward, depending on our future expansions and our growth and our acquisitions, we're also considering going public in terms of maybe finding another partners financing, which will be keen on financing our, let's say, various investment projects and acquisitions. And basically that's it. That's it from our side. So you're welcome for questions, and we're happy trying to answer them and give additional explanations if there are such.
Thank you for the comprehensive presentation. I would like to remind everyone you can submit questions in the question box below. The first question we received in advance is regarding the dividend payout plan. Could you comment on that?
I think that maybe Darius, you wanted to comment it, please.
One second, I'm trying to switch on camera. Emilia, could you please clarify the question? Can you read it? Because dividends is quite a complex topic, you know. What is the question, to be precise?
The question is regarding whether the 2023 profit will be used for dividends.
Thank you for the question. And as always, you know, this decision is taken in a general shareholders meeting and should pass all the, let's say, steps of approval on the way to this decision. As always, we are, let's say, making this decision in April. Talking about the dividend policy itself, I must admit that we have one which is now, you know, valid and potentially can be used to, let's say, set up distributed net profit. But it's worth to admit that presently we are revising this dividend policy, and I hope that we will have a new version available till the decisions regarding distribution of the profit will be taken. Why we are changing? Because we have a new strategy and we have a new ambition and new financial projections. But let us work on that. It's too early to confirm that we will have dividends, but we have a valid dividend policy. Process is, as always, related with audit results and all corporate approvals.
The second question is regarding the FX contracts. Will they be settled in line with the acquisition of FSRU Independence?
I will try to contemplate on this and give a short answer. Basically, this is two ways to look at this, and being open with our shareholders and minority shareholders. If looking, let's say, simply from the business perspective, of course, from the business perspective, we are very, you know, looking on the situation and thinking and making a decision regarding this forex transaction, because, as you know, from one hand we have fixed price in dollars of that vessel, and meaning that as far as, you know, exchange rate fluctuates, then the price eventually converting into euros also fluctuates, and that affects and will affect the price, the eventual price of the vessel, price to what the vessel will be acquired, and of course how much cash we'll need to pay. Looking from the accounting point of view, of course, the price of the vessel will be recorded according to official exchange rate, as you understand, and that will be take place on the 6th of December. So from commercial point of view, we are, as a management of the team, we're really thinking how to do this. And logic says, okay, maybe we should go and we shall see the hedge possibilities, and we are, you know, watching very, very, very closely the market, because usually we can hedge and secure, let's say, our price, which was pre-agreed since agreements has been, let's say, since the decision was made to acquire the vessel. But from the regulator's point of view, it's a tricky bit one, because if let's say the company will make a hedge, and the price and the exchange rate on the 6th of December will be different, and if the exchange rate will be favorable for us, so everybody will be happy. But if, let's say, exchange rate will be worse, meaning versus our hedge, then the company, comparing to the 6th of December official rate and let's say market rate, might have a difference and might have a loss, and therefore regulator will not compensate for that loss. So here is just a bit tricky. But anyway, this is very important, because we understand the value of the transaction and impact on the cash flows. And okay, so my quite long speech was in that sense that we have a mechanism and procedures watching and making or giving a decision to the, let's say, to the stakeholders and whatever it's needed to react, let's see, when the exchange rate will be favorable. So meaning that we are still in the process, and we are thinking very seriously, maybe to make a hedge, depending on the situation in the markets.
Just to supplement Thomas, one more thing, to highlight is that nevertheless, we will manage or not the ethics, locking in ethics. All the actual value will be defined by regulator as a regulated asset base. So, returns will be calculated from a factual, so to say, value in euros. But of course, for sake of mitigating any related risks and not exceeding the, let's say, amount of credit from Nordic Investment Banking, management will be looking into opportunity in case if FX rate is reasonable, to step in and to reduce any possible risks. But as Tomas rightly said, it must be agreed with a regulator and, let's say, stipulated in the respective bylaws and legal acts.
But the company has all instruments and it's prepared for let's say, for this hedge, and having the credit lines with the appropriate banks and everything. So we're ready for this. Thank you.
It looks like we've covered all your questions so far. If you have not sent one in yet and would like to, please do so now. As all the questions have been answered, sorry, just got another one. When will the project of common interest be implemented?
Well, project of common interest is the status of a project of the Baltic CCS consortium.
Please unmute.
Important, let's say, in Europe, let's say. So final approvals, as far as I remember, need to be done in spring by European Commission, but by European Parliament. I don't know exact date. If it's needed, we can clarify. But I think in our media reports on this, I think we mentioned, but sorry, I don't remember exactly.
Thank you. As all the questions have been answered, on behalf of KN Energies, thank you everyone. It was a pleasure being with you today. The recording of the presentation will be available on Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel. Thank you for a very informative conference. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Emilia, thank you for good moderation and for all the participants.
Thank you for all of you, and have a good day. Thank you.